This is a journey into the heart of Hakka history, culture, economics, and most importantly, identity. From the mountainous regions of China to the vibrant shores of Malaysia, we follow the footprints of the Hakka. Our research explores the question, how have the Hakka maintained their unique cultural identity across generations and continents? Under the direction of Mr. Folman, this video series summarizes his journey through Malaysia. Join us as we uncover the legacy of the Hakka in Malaysia, a tale of migration, tradition, and hard work.
We've interviewed the members of Hakka community to learn about their experiences, perspectives, and traditions. We sincerely thank everyone who contributed to this project, especially those who shared their stories and insights in the interviews. Your participation has been invaluable, and we truly appreciate the opportunity to learn from you. The Hakka people are known for their strong work ethic and ability to thrive in tough situations. Over the years, they've carved out an important role in the economy, not just in China, but around the world. In this video, we'll take a closer look at what makes the Hakka so successful in business, how their traditions and culture have helped them along the way. This is Philip, a businessman from Malacca. His grandfather was one of many Chinese immigrants who arrived in Malaya from China. Unlike many at that time, he was able to afford the cost of his ship ticket, allowing him to enter Malaysia without the common debt that many immigrants incurred upon arrival. Typically, Chinese migrants who couldn't afford the passage had to work in Malaysia to pay off the cost of their journey. The first generation of migrants were employed in mining gold or became farmers. Many settled along the new railway line between Singapore and Kuala Lumpur. Many went to the next town and became businessmen in the first or second generation. Whether it's watchmaking, selling cloth, running a pharmacy, or trading, Hakka families have found success in a variety of professions, always relying on hard work and patience. Depending on helping each other in this pioneer situation, it comes as no surprise that people from the same group clustered around the same professions. In other words, some businesses became associated with Hakka or Hokkien or Cantonese people.
Were there specific professions that the Hakkas took up here in this place?
Yes, I think the Hakka people are well known, noted as people that are very occupied about Malaysian, Hakka, which is now so-called world capital Hakka, and they are more inclined to be teacher, to do all this clerical work. Then, as the Chinese saying, Pak Sam Pak Fu, Mercy Sam Church.
I also saw a record, there's a making noodle, the army, it's a Hakka. Yeah, it was famous because he used the water in the itam to turn the water wheel, and then I think he imported all this grain or the crushed it with flour, and he made noodle and bread for the Europeans. So very likely it's a Hakka, the army, A-M-I-E. It's a record. It's a painting of his house, army. So maybe he was making me. So very likely because he's also doing farming. So farming is very much a Hakka profession. Today, if you go to the other side island, the durian farms, almost more than 90% Hakka.
How did your family come to this idea of doing watchmaker business?
Well, I have a cousin brother who came earlier in Malaysia, and he started the business as a watch repairer, and his place is called Tampin. You all know Tampin? Yeah. He is my eldest cousin brother. His father and my father are brothers. So he opened a shop in Tampin, and my eldest brother went there to learn the trade of the repairing water. And after learning, he came down to Malacca. He started his own business. He rented a small place, and the business grew.
A great example of such a close community is the pawn shop, which has been a central part of many Hakka communities. So, what's a pawn shop? It's a place where people can bring valuable items like jewelry or electronics and exchange them for a loan. The idea is that if you need quick cash, you can pawn an item. If you can pay back the loan within a set time, you get your item back. If not, the pawn shop keeps it and resells it.
Basically, it's the most simple form of financing. There is no terms, no nothing. The terms are very easy. You're given a period to pay, and you come in with a ticket with the principal sum and the interest. You take your things back. End of story. So it was that basic, and previously they were only Hong Kong Bank, Standard Bank, Chartered Bank, OCBC Bank. Even then, at that time, Malayan banking didn't exist. So, if you like, banking was a privilege of the Western society. That's how it started. And to the Malays, they didn't have any bank accounts or whatever, and they need at least 3 times a year to come in to see us.
Migrants who moved away to find work would send money back home, relying on trusted community networks to handle these transactions. Loans and credit were often based on personal relationships rather than formal banking, making trust and reputation incredibly important in Hakka business. Many women migrants worked as housemaids in wealthy households, and they usually saved their money in cash. When they returned to China to see their family, they entrusted the pawn shop with their savings against a small fee. In this sense, a pawn shop literally served as a bank.
They used to bring in a jar of gold without documentation and just leave it with us for $10.
The Hakka have always been resourceful, and you can see this in how they've contributed to local economies. Historically, they were migrants, often living in regions where farming wasn't easy, so they turned to trading and small businesses and often became very successful. What really stands out about the Hakka is how much their culture has shaped their approach to business. The Hakkas see themselves as hardworking, saving money, and focusing on long-term goals. One might say that Hakkas are historically used to migrate to economic centers and occupy marginal economies, which often made them quite successful and wealthy. Malaya at that time was a land for pioneers, and Hakkas didn't hesitate to cultivate land or look for business opportunities.
We Hakka are hardworking and very safe, and they are very calculative. Calculative, Hakka calculative. But there's one bad, meaning the disadvantage of the Hakka community is they're not brave enough. They're not to go for this venturing capital type business. They're more conservative.
Do you think that being Hakka was a specific asset for people in Malaysia to be successful?
I don't think, because everybody is equal, and if you work harder, anybody also can become success. So when we do business or what is credibility, that's what people trust you.
Every businessman keeps his business to himself. However, there is a sense of loyalty towards one's friends and fellow Hakkas.
From the association, they will have a meeting and consider and whether they can help you or cannot. It's up to them.
Business is seen as a private issue. This setup allows people to handle their own businesses independently, while also knowing they have the community's help.
When they come to sometimes need the help of the association, then they will split up the job. So certain area, this field will help out. Certain area, the other field. That means we have experts in various different fields. That time mainly business, all kinds of business.
Hakka, being the family language, did not play a specific role for business relationships. The highly prestigious Mandarin Chinese is being adopted by most ethnic Chinese in Malaysia. So, Chinese is very important in business interaction. On the other hand, everyone speaks English. Malaysia is a former British colony. That's why many older Chinese businessmen attended an English school and are fluent in that language. Similar to Singapore, English as an international language is usually held in high esteem by Chinese businessmen. But still, speaking Hakka helps create rapport and a feeling of intimacy with their customers.
Hakka been ever important for your profession?
No more.
No.
Now all Mandarin.
Mhm.
Mandarin and local dialects such as Malay.
Yeah.
So up to my mother's time, I would say even in the 60s, it was important. But now it's becoming less important. Like now, even the Indian class, most of them do speak Malay. That's how we promote.
50 or 60 years ago, most Hakka entrepreneurs made their own products and sold them. But nowadays, many buy ready-made goods to resell in order to adapt to modern supply chains. Modern economic development posed challenges to these new businesses. Watches are often not being repaired anymore. The goldsmith buys ready-made jewelry and keeps one goldsmith only for repairing. The clothing store is still quite successful in selling wedding cloth and uniforms and traditional costumes for different important occasions. Also, many Hakkas became rubber farmers and rubber producers, but slowly this business moved to the south of Thailand and started production using palm oil.
But you have several shops in Malacca?
At the moment, I have three.
Three.
One that's here, the main. I have another one in the complex, and one opposite the road. He is my younger son, so he does the wholesale. That means he buys a big quantity from China, and then he distributes to all the smaller shops. But it's now for the watch business, we call it the sunset business. People don't bother about watches now. Those days you talk about watch, oh, very nice. The Chinese New Year especially, people queue up to buy watch. But now, we have to queue up to wait for the customer to come. No customer coming in.
Like in other countries of the world, due to higher education, more and more people pursue various other fields like medicine. Therefore, traditional shops may not be continued. As an example, in one case, the watch shop shares its space with the optician shop. The old man, 80 years old, is still running the shop. His son is taking over, however, focusing on selling glasses. Hakkas find education very valuable, and if they find a chance, they send their children to study abroad. Nonetheless, many of these Hakkas return to Malaysia to take care of their parents, even if they would have liked to stay abroad. Due to loosening up of traditions, the younger generations also prefer to stay abroad. However, there are exceptions. Some still choose to carry on the family business, valuing its traditions and connections.
Are there still young people taking up traditional professions?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Now, of course, this few years, a lot profession mean they graduate, they return home, return to hometown and start again their parent business.
That's a quick look at this interesting topic. Our series covers many different parts of Hakka life, from daily culture to business and language. Thanks for watching, and see you in our next video. Want to know more? Subscribe to join us on this journey of discovery.